Welcome back to the More Life Podcast. Another episode here, but as you can see, there's only two. Just Matt and I, and no guest today.
Yeah, no guest, but you know what? We're here. We're representing. You got the blue on, I got the yellow on, and we're here to represent the one and only More Life Podcast.
There it is.
And, when I put this yellow shirt on today, it made me think of something. So in the summertime, we got the weather changing. Do bees ever, be a nuisance to you? Bees, wasps?
A nuisance?
Yeah.
I would
Do they
say,
annoy you? Like when you see a bee buzzing by?
I would say when I see a bee buzzing by, I kind of just think about like the honeycomb cereal, and I think of it happened as a kid, and that brings me back to good memories.
Okay, so you associate bees with good memories.
Usually, either that or kind of when I would get like stung on the bus, like it'd be, how you'd sleep in the bus, your head in the window, tilted over, and all of a sudden you get a big wasp, like,
oof,
and it just kind of gets you like that.
In the face?
Like the head, not the face, the head usually.
Oh, you got stung in the head.
One time in the hair one time.
Damn.
Yeah.
I actually this is a separate side story. I got stung in the neck once. I was driving with the car windows open, just driving down the highway. All of a sudden, boom, I feel something hit my neck. Starts stinging real bad.
I bet. Yeah, that's a stinger. That's a stinger.
That's a throughway too. I'm going like 60 miles an hour.
That's
a double whammy stinger.
That's a gym stakeout stinger right there, with the chicken fingers and the steak, but just not as pleasurable.
Yeah, that's extra spicy buffalo chicken.
Oh, that's spicy. That's spicy.
Well, anyways, with the bees, I got a fun fact for you about bees. Did you know that bees can differentiate between humans?
Elaborate.
So bees can recognize humans. So if it sees me, it can remember me and my face.
Oh, okay. Actually, no, I feel like I've heard about that. Not hear that, but I remember I've seen stories of like certain types of bees or subtypes of bees where if you kind of attack them or go at them, maybe like you go after like the queen bee.
Yeah, or the nest.
Not Beyonce, but the queen bee.
Yeah.
Of the clan, they can like remember that and attack you like days, weeks later.
Yeah. No, they remember. I found that out recently, and it kind of scared me.
Like they went after you, or like you just found that out?
No, I just found out the fact, but it was kind of concerning. Like taking down those nests, I'm gonna think twice.
I would. Yeah. I mean,
don't bother the bees.
No. There's plenty of other insects, mammals, amphibians to bother, but bees you should not mess with.
Yeah, bees are not one that I want to mess with personally.
Oh no.
But anyways, we're back. No guest, like we said, but that's okay. I think we're due for a solo episode.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while since the true More Life individuals were here.
Yeah, bringing it back, blast from the past, some would say. And before this, we really took a big blast from the past. Went to Moe's.
We did, yes.
All reliable.
Yeah.
Got a nice Gengar.
Oh, love good Gengar. And so Gengar, for those who don't know, it's a quesadilla from this fast food restaurant Moe's, involving cheese, beef, bread. That's about it.
Yeah. Combo chips, some queso, a soda of some sort.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I'll put it this way. So, like, we used to go there a lot when we were 17, 18, 19, I would say.
Yeah.
And I'll say this, being like 26 now, which I returned recently.
Yeah.
A recent kind of thought I had is saying you're 26, it feels so much older than saying you're 25. I don't know why, but just, I think because you're in the second half of your 20s.
Yeah, well, I mean, as soon as you turn 25, every day you get older, you're closer to 30 than 20.
You're right.
So
It's like, yeah.
I mean, a harsh way to put it, but it's true.
It is. Plus, you get kicked off your parents' health insurance, too. So there's more kind of that adult feeling, adult responsibility, which is good and bad, I guess. But
so I've been handling the 26 because our viewers may not know you've recently turned 26.
I mean, besides crying myself to sleep every night, it's been good, I would say.
Okay.
Usually that only consists of the last 2 hours of the night, usually.
Oh.
But
is that a side effect I should expect in my upcoming birthday?
It's like how the medications they have like you watch a commercial for medication. There's like 25 different side effects.
Yeah, where he's like speaking really fast.
Yeah, it's like seizures, chance of quick death,
heart attack.
Yeah, all these different things, all these different side effects. That's one of them.
Oh, okay, they just kind of squeeze that in there.
Inability to hear is another one.
Ooh.
What else could there be? All of a sudden, like
seeing start to ache.
Seeing double.
Oh, seeing double.
Seeing double, yeah.
Wow.
You only certain times though. Only when you go open that pack of the honeycomb cereal, and you've seen double because you're so excited.
Now there's a debate going on the internet. I don't know if you've seen or had any input on this previously or thought about this at all. But I've seen it, and I really haven't thought about it on purpose because I want to think about it and brainstorm it here with you today.
Okay.
And the debate is you have one gorilla and you have 100 men.
Yes, I've seen this.
Who is winning that battle?
Well, I think it depends on their approach.
Okay.
I'll
No
say
weapons.
This. No weapons.
We're
correct.
talking bare hands.
Correct. Yep. I would say if all 100 of the men attack the gorilla with their full effort and force, they'll absolutely win. In my opinion, absolutely win.
See, now here's what I'm thinking is if all 100 go at it at once, you're only going to get a certain amount, maybe 15, 20, maybe 25 that are going to get at the gorilla. Everyone else is going to be kind of like a mob outside of it, not hitting the gorilla.
Even still, but if they're right there behind to kind of strike the gorilla while he's down,
maybe
that's gonna help them a lot. Also, what you can do is have like maybe let's have between 7 and 10 or 11 go after each limb. You kind of hit it like a target kind of going from
Right.
different vantage points. That would also I think play a role with. But I would say there's no way I don't think a gorilla could win.
You don't think so?
I think the only way
You think it puts how many men will it take to take down a gorilla?
Oh, that's a good question.
At what point is the gorilla like just throwing in the white towel?
I'd say 40.
40?
Yeah, because I think the gorilla could probably fight off the first wave of let's say 15 to 20, but then the second wave comes in.
It's going to be pretty fatigued.
I agree. Yeah, fatigue's going to set in. It's not going to be able to have the same amount of strength and endurance to fight off the men.
True. And you know what? As a human myself, I can speak for our side, our team.
I would say so.
We're not sending out, nobodies. We're
Right.
sending out some big
You're
fellas.
sending out some dogs.
Yeah.
You're sending out maybe Arnold get that in the mix. Maybe The Rock.
Yeah, we're sending out
Maybe
big boys.
he was just on our last episode. Rosario. He could be good.
Yeah.
That's 3 right there. You only need 97 more.
Honestly, anyone that listens to the More Life podcast,
That's true.
the intelligence gained, you're really going to outsmart the gorilla.
That's true. They say it's like not about
It's not about how hard you work. It's about how smart you are.
Yep. And it's like they say too. It's like it's not about how hard you get hit. It's about how you get hit and keep moving forward.
Ooh, I like that. That's quote of the day.
Oh yeah, it's something. But I probably didn't do a great job with that accent there. But I
maybe
tried my
not.
best.
You
No.
could probably work on that a little bit.
You think I should? Do you think the rest of this episode should be dedicated to that?
Just practicing your
Every
accent.
5 minutes when you're talking, I'm just gonna randomly start saying that.
It's got to be a new accent though. I want to hear them all.
Okay, Australian.
Well, no, I want an Irish
I can
first
do a
because
little-
since you're going to Ireland this
Yeah.
summer, I want to hear an Irish one at some point. Doesn't have to be on the
I'll do
spot.
it when I get back.
Okay.
I can't do too many good accents right now. I got a decent Minnesota one, but other than that, not too much.
Minnesota one.
Yeah, my friend Spencer and I, we used to during school, during our like lunch breaks and between classes, we used to go to Tim Hortons. We would do the Minnesota accent on the drive-through.
Yeah.
We see what they say, be like, "How we doing there? Let's get a one bagel with cream cheese and one hot coffee." That was like usually like a couple times a semester thing.
Oh well, yeah. You got to stay sharp.
Yeah. But yeah, for sure we gotta stay sharp. But it's just kind of because I would say they don't know. Tim Hortons is a big corporation. They don't know where people are coming from. Plus Buffalo, it's north of Buffalo, kind of is near the border of Canada.
Canada. Yep.
So I mean, you could get some Northerners in there.
Yeah. I mean, Minnesota's not quite Canada, but it is on the northern border.
It is. Plus also Niagara Falls is one of the 8 wonders of the world. So they could be traveling there for that. So I mean, that could be another reason why they're there.
Very possible.
Oh, it's very possible. I think so anyway. The drive-through workers didn't always think so, but I thought so.
They probably believed it.
They might have.
Like, listen to this goofball on.
Yeah, I think I had some good days, some bad days. I think it depending on how much I sold it.
Maybe a little voice crack in there every once in a while.
Yeah, okay. I'll have to work on that.
But you know what? You say that saying, and it made me think of a saying or a quote, I should say. And I'm trying to think of it offhand right now, but I might have to bring out my phone because I have it on the notes.
Do you know who it was by?
No, I honestly saw it on an Instagram reel,
Okay.
and I was like, late at night, we're talking like 10 o'clock at night. I'm scrolling, and I'm like, ooh, this could be something to talk about on
You
the
were
pod.
you were doom scrolling?
I was doom scrolling late at night. They say that doom scrolling plays into like people that don't have control over their day. They say at night is the only time they feel like they have control.
Interesting.
So that's the reason why they end up staying late staying up late like longer
Hmm.
because they want to feel like they have a sense of control, as in I'm gonna do what I want.
Because I would say I definitely do better, like not staying up late, but doing my more productive things at night. Like when I was in school, I'd always study from like, I would do best and learn and like retain information best if it was between like 6:30 and 11 p.m.
Mm.
Because I would get like that midday, not crash, but midday kind of lull between like maybe 2 p.m. and 5:30. I just
Mhm.
wouldn't feel like it's mentally sharp.
Yeah, yeah. I
And
feel
even-
like I'm a morning person.
Yeah,
Like
I get that.
early in the morning, I get the same like mid-afternoon crash.
Mhm,
I
yeah.
get that. It hits
But even
hard.
to work now, because like there's some days, like 2 days a week, we see patients from like 9 or 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. So like I feel pretty good in the morning. Once we get to be like 2 to 5, it's kind of struggling to get through it. But then like 5 to 7, I can feel great. I can go like 10 more hours.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Funny how that works.
yeah,
That nice 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock crash.
well, everyone's circadian rhythm is a
Yeah.
little bit different. So
It can hit you like a brick wall.
oh yeah, yeah.
But anyways, got the saying right here.
Okay.
If a bird lands on a branch, does it trust its wings or the branch?
If the bird lands on the branch,
Yeah. If a bird lands on the branch, does it trust its wings or the branch to hold it up?
I would say it trusts the branch. I mean, I think it trusts both, but because if the branch falls, it's just gonna fly away.
Well, here's the rest.
Okay.
The guy says, I've never seen a branch break and the bird fall and die.
Correct.
So I think that saying has meaning of trusting yourself in scenarios
That's true.
at all times.
Yeah, because I mean, the bird's not gonna always know how well the branch is gonna hold up, but it knows I'll survive either way.
Because you got to think about it. As a bird, you're not like constricted to one tree. You can fly to any tree.
You're right.
Any
Options
tree in the
are open.
neighborhood, any tree in the city.
I like that. That's a nice quote because that's. Is there like a time you can think of in your life where you flew to a branch and kind of
I would
when
say
saw what happened?
I'm not sure. I would say times that I'm in a new environment, maybe I'm not used to. You know, you got to be able.
Yeah.
You got to prepare
true.
yourself before you go into that new scenario or land on that new branch.
Yeah, but you also got that confidence that even if the branch isn't what you thought it would be, you
Yeah.
can still survive and kind of
Right.
prosper.
So you land on that. You're looking at that branch. You're flying in on. You're like, that looks sturdy. You know, it's really thick. You know, I'm gonna land on there. It seems fine. Little did you know, the branch is dead. It's dying off.
Yeah.
1 ounce cracks, breaks, falls. You got to be able to fly.
You do. Adapt or die.
That's right. Adapt or die. That's something.
You know where it came from?
Where'd it come from?
Well, I don't know if it came where it came from, but they said on the movie Moneyball.
Oh.
About the Oakland A's, their baseball team. Have you seen the movie?
No.
No.
Yeah, no.
It's a good movie. It's a baseball movie, but like it's half baseball, half kind of the financial aspect of this
Okay.
one baseball
Makes
team
sense.
with this like revolutionary concept of kind of designing a baseball team. So it's interesting, but adapt or die.
Adapt or die.
That's right.
Remember that.
We're talking to you, listeners. We're talking to you.
Yeah, but anyways, back to like the like crashing around like 2 or 3 o'clock. That kind of reminds me of like coffee. So I'm not a coffee drinker. For people that don't know, I'm not a coffee drinker. It'll be a rare occasion that I do drink it, and when I do, it's usually in the morning, and it's usually in like a social setting because everyone else is. I guess you could say it's peer pressure, but maybe not because I don't. I kind of enjoy like a nice iced coffee every once in a while.
Yeah. Do you enjoy it while you're drinking it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you like coffee?
So it's
then?
not like a peer pressure thing, I guess,
No.
at that point. Maybe it was at first when I was trying it, or maybe it was curiosity. I'm not sure. But anyways, back to the main point of the story. Whenever I drink coffee in the morning, I don't have it a lot. I'm crashing like hard mid-afternoon. Like if I'm drinking it at like 9, 10 a.m., I'm crashing at 2, like hard.
Let me ask you this though: do you drink it within the first 2 hours of getting up?
Usually not.
Usually not. Okay. Because there is some science behind it. I wish I knew the exact physiological reason, but there is like some data that shows and some evidence that if you have coffee within the first 2 hours of when you wake up,
Yeah.
something happens with
Probably some chemical reaction.
some
in your
chemical
brain.
reaction, and then leads you to crash later on. But sounds like that's not the case for you though.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe my body's just not used to like the amount of caffeine that's in coffee. So when I drink it, it's just like overloaded.
Yeah. I'll say this though. I don't really get crash from coffee or anything,
Yeah.
but I'll notice like I typically like get a boost with coffee, whereas I used to drink Celsius, the energy drink, which the amount of caffeine in that is about 2 cups of coffee, and I didn't get as much of like a caffeine hit from that.
Really?
Yeah,
Hmm.
I'm not sure why that is. If it's something else, like a different property or chemical or ingredient in coffee or what might be, but yeah, I definitely do not feel the same drinking coffee versus an energy drink.
Would you drink Celsius in the morning? Because you would drink coffee in the morning, I would
Yeah,
assume. You
I
wouldn't
could
drink
say
coffee in the afternoon.
no, same time of day.
Same time of day?
Yeah,
Hmm.
coffee.
Yeah,
Or,
that's interesting. I'm
morning.
not sure.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm not sure what it is, honestly.
Another thing with coffee with me, like, it happened recently where I kind of woke up late for work. It was a Friday, so I was kind of like dragging my feet in the morning, and I was really tired, stayed up late the night before. So I was like, all right, maybe I could benefit from a coffee. So I got one before work and I drank it, and I found that it was okay for like the first couple hours. I was actually a little jittery, like a little bit of the shakes. But then I felt like pretty like irritable.
Really?
Like things like
Hmm.
just
Interesting.
became like annoying to me.
That's
Wouldn't
interesting.
normally become annoying.
Because there's times where I feel like I'm a little irritable, but then I have coffee and I'm less irritable.
The opposite.
Yes, exactly. Which I've heard too. People say that. I remember like one of my internships in PT school, my advisor, my clinical instructor, he would say he always had at least 1 cup of coffee a day, and the one time he didn't, he yelled at his grandma.
Wait, what?
Yeah, so like because coffee or not having coffee made him irritable because he was
Oh.
addicted to the caffeine. Where the one time he didn't have it, he did something he would never do like without caffeine.
Gotcha.
Because it's like he's not just gonna yell at his grandma for no reason. But
So it's almost like the opposite of
yeah,
me.
that was the opposite of what you
opposite
said.
effect.
Yeah. Mhm.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know why that happened, but I noticed that and I was like, man, maybe I should probably stop drinking coffee. I don't want to be like a jerk to the public here.
No.
But I mean, people that like religiously drink coffee, it is like going through withdrawal. If you like
Oh, it
try
is, yeah.
and quit or like
Yeah.
just tame down a little bit, like they go through withdrawal. You'll get headaches.
Headaches.
and
Yep.
It's a real thing.
It is. I mean, yeah, it's like anything you're addicted to, really. Obviously, coffee's on the very lighter end of that spectrum or scale
Right,
compared
right.
to other things like alcohol, drugs, and various other things. But yeah, same concept. Thankfully, never really been addicted to anything that I can think of. But
Thankfully.
yeah.
Thankfully.
do you think there's like a CA out there, like Coffee Anonymous?
Coffee Anonymous? I don't know.
If there was, it would have to take place in California, because that's the
True. Yeah. See,
maybe
Coffee
like the
Anonymous.
headquarters in California anyway.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. You think the northern or the southern side?
I say northern. I feel like northerners would probably be more coffee drinkers.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure why. What makes me think that? Maybe because Starbucks was from Washington, the state, so that's closer
Yeah.
to Northern Cal.
Well, the southern side has like nicer weather.
That's true.
The north side, not as nice weather, so maybe people are more inclined to drink coffee to
Yeah.
get their day moving a little quicker.
Yeah, because when I think of like coffee drinkers in California, I think of like northern being mostly like you wake up on like your oceanside apartment, grab a cup of coffee before work. But for SoCal, Southern California, I think of like kind of like hanging on a cafe a little bit by the beach, lounging around a little bit.
Just vibing.
Yeah. I'm glad I've never been to California, so I have no merit up to say this, but that's kind of what I'd picture in my head.
Well, if anyone's from California, let us know.
Yes, please let us know.
What's the coffee vibes like in northern and southern California?
It's weird because I used to like never like coffee growing up until probably later on in college. Probably like
I remember when you had the conversation. You're like, I started drinking coffee and like I enjoy it.
yeah.
I was like, all right,
yeah.
fair enough.
I don't know what eventually like led to it, but I just kind of started drinking it. I love to like go to a cafe and just like try different things that sound interesting.
Different flavors,
Yeah,
coffee. I will
exactly.
say, I'm not really a coffee drinker, but the smell of coffee that can hit different.
Oh yeah.
Like if you walk into a cafe and it smells of coffee,
Oh yeah.
that's nice.
Oh yeah.
That's nice. And it is pretty cool how you can get creative with coffee and like do different flavors.
Yeah.
It has different notes and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I respect the coffee game. There's
Oh,
no
yeah.
disrespect to them.
No. Some of the people in the coffee game, they got drip.
Those baristas, man, they got drip.
Oh yeah.
You insult them and they're gonna make your coffee drip.
Yep, that's right. Drip coffee. I like that. But what was I gonna say here? Something about big coffee. One thing that I noticed too is like it's good to see is all like the small, like feel like small coffee shops got a lot of attention,
Yeah.
which is good because it's not like one corporation taking over. Like obviously, you got Starbucks, you got Dunkin' Donuts. Around here, you got Tim Hortons.
Tim Hortons,
Some
yeah.
of those bigger ones, like big coffee, can
They'll
sometimes
always
take
be a
over.
force, yeah. But
But
I would say they're more of your day-to-day force, where like before
correct.
work,
Yeah.
that's what you're doing.
Yep. Exactly.
But maybe
Quick.
on the weekend, you're meeting friends out. You're gonna
Exactly.
go to maybe a local cafe.
Yeah, that's true. You're not gonna probably not gonna go to like Tim Hortons because you think about it. Like think about some of the places where we grow up with, like a lot of small coffee shops. It's all young people, like our age and
True.
maybe slightly older.
Yep.
Versus like you go to like a Tim Hortons in the morning or like a Dunkin' Donuts in the morning. It's all generally gentlemen over the age of like 60.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a big difference, kind of, in how the different generations want to go about their coffee enjoying experience on the weekends.
Very true. Very
Yeah.
true. You know, you got like the trendy music in the local ones.
That's true,
Nice
yeah.
trendy young music.
Yeah.
The vibe's actually pretty good. Like it's very aesthetically pleasing, I should say.
Yeah.
Going into those places.
Also, I think too, like it's just different how different generations drink their coffee. I would say younger generations love to kind of try different things and can mix and match and create kind of like it's like their own kind of it's like their own little not tapestry, their own what's it called with when you make art? It's like a splashboard. It's like a canvas. It's like an empty canvas with their coffee. I'm just spitballing right here. See what comes out. But yeah, it's like a canvas. They have to try different things and kind of see what they like and don't like and go from there. Versus I feel like the older generation likes to just like they have their one they know they like one shot of vanilla with one cream and one sugar, or they like
Yeah.
just black coffee. It's
Right.
one of the two. It's like very black and white.
Well, it doesn't remind me. It just makes me think of like how maybe people on the older side just tend to be like that in general. Like not
That's
just
true.
with their coffee. If you try and get them to do
Yeah.
maybe a new routine or maybe it's at a job
Mm.
and they get a new boss
That's
and
true.
they want to change the way they've been doing their job for, say they've been doing that for 20 years and now they got to change the way. That usually doesn't end well.
No, it doesn't. It's like old dogs. You can't teach old dogs new tricks. They don't
Right.
they don't like to do that generally.
And I see that a lot of the time, and that's something like I thought about to myself the other day. I don't really want to end up like that.
No, I don't either.
Like I want to
No.
be
open-minded.
yeah, I want to be open-minded. I want to don't want to be like grumpy and in my ways.
No, I agree. I think part of it is like they know they have more life experiences, so they know what they like, and they're just gonna go with that. But also, there's a little bit of that kind of I don't want to say stagnation, but kind of less desire to go outside their comfort zone, I would say.
Yeah, it could be that. I also think it could be they take offense or they take it as like a personal attack.
That's true. They do that as well.
So in the
yeah.
situation of like a new boss coming in and wanting to change things, they're taking it as, what do you mean? Like I've been doing this for 20 years. Like I know what I'm doing. Like I'm not stupid.
I feel like you see that a lot with technology too. It's like you hand like let's say this is a very generalized and broad example, but let's say you hand an 80-year-old or 70-year-old like an iPhone. They're like, oh, what do I do with this? Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
Versus like someone younger. Let's say they've never seen it. Let's say they're Amish. You hand them an iPhone, and it's probably against what they've done their whole life, but they'd
Yeah.
probably still be open-minded to try and seeing how it works and such.
Yeah.
If it wasn't viewed as being disrespectful to their culture,
Right.
I would
yep.
say.
Yeah, I would agree
Yeah.
with that because they're
Like that's obviously a make-up scenario, but let's say that happened. I would say that person, the 20-year-old Amish person, would be much more likely to kind of see things through and spending more time to see what the iPhone can do versus that 70 or 80-year-old.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
And of course, you get your outliers where some people that are older that are genuinely curious and like open and wanting to learn new young things.
Yeah, I mean we're just like this, just speaking in like generalities. Yeah,
Because I do know some young people that are just like set in their ways, and that's just how it is.
that's true.
They don't want to learn anything new. They don't want to. That's what it is.
Yeah, which is unfortunate.
It's not a
I feel
bad
like.
thing. I mean,
No.
if they want to live their life like that, that's fine.
No, yeah, obviously everyone can do whatever they want. That's the beauty of life, I would say.
beauty of
You
life.
can pick what you want and do what you want generally, but yeah.
Yeah, I think.
I think it makes for more things more interesting and more enjoyable to be a part of if someone is open and kind of appreciates the differences and variance in life.
Yeah. Yeah.
You always want to be like coachable, I would say.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it. Very coachable.
Yeah, where it's like even Yeah, that's always a big thing. Like when I feel like with jobs, it's like it's less about where you start, but more about like how much potential you have to grow. You know.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that is big. It's a big thing to advertise for
I remember,
yourself
yeah,
too.
because I remember like a job interview one time. The interviewee or the interviewer, obviously me being the interviewee, he was talking about how it was important for whoever he hires for the role to be very kind of coachable, and it's less about where your starting point is, but more about kind of where how much you can push yourself to go. Because ultimately, let's say someone starts here, but they only have the potential and the desire to go to here. In the long run, that's not as good as someone who starts here,
Yep.
but can go to there.
Right. No, that's a good point. And I'll tell you what, the viewers of this video are definitely going to appreciate that a lot more than the listeners because they're able to see your graph there.
Yeah.
The visuals. So if you're listening on Spotify, great. We appreciate you.
Always.
But if you want a better understanding of what Mike just said, go to YouTube and click on that link.
Absolutely. Could not be better said. And I'll give you a sports analogy. It's like for those sports lovers out there, it's like Josh Allen, who's the Bills quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
He started at a low point, was viewed as like a project quarterback.
Yep.
Listen, he might need a year or two to kind of work through his mistakes and kind of the flaws in his game, but eventually he's got great speed, great arm strength. He's a very competitive guy. He's got a lot of potential to be great.
Yep. Now he's the MVP.
And you've seen that. Yeah.
So
yeah.
No, it's a good thing to be. Be coachable.
That's right.
If you take anything from this episode today,
Yeah.
it's to be coachable.
BC, British Columbia, and be coachable.
Be coachable in British Columbia.
Speaking of British Columbia, that's like I've always sometimes think about like my top like vacation spots I'd like to go to. I ever seen like I forget what national park it is. I'm gonna get it wrong. I want to say Banff maybe. But
I've never heard of that.
But there's like a national park in the western, like northwestern Canada, that's like so beautiful with the glaciers.
The glaciers, and then like the crystal clear water.
Yes, exactly.
That's
yeah.
like just freaking blue.
Yes, I want to say it's Banff, but I could be wrong. Like BANFF, but I'm not sure. Anyways, that's like one spot I've always wanted to go to.
Yeah, no, for sure. That would be pretty cool on the bucket list.
Oh, bucket list. I think of too. Obviously, summer would probably be best, but even like wintertime too, with you get a stick and puck and skates out there. Oh man,
just skating out
that's
there.
the best pond hockey you could ever ask for.
You just hear the skates like just edging into the ice.
So crisp. Oh my gosh.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Insane.
You just got to get a stick puck. You got to get a net out there too.
You do, yeah. You need a net.
Couple slappers out there.
Oh yeah. If you miss a net, goes like 10 miles away. Just keep sliding.
That's the skate of shame.
That's a skate of shame. But it'd be kind of cool. Build up speed to see how fast you can get to it.
Yeah, just don't go. If the weather's a little warm.
Yeah.
Don't go too close to the middle because you might fall in.
That's true. There was a time this past winter time where, obviously me being relatively new to Rochester, I don't know all the areas where they have like pond hockey or like where they freeze the ice.
Yeah.
So I'd heard of this one place. It's like a little park, and so it'd been cold for a couple days in a row, like pretty cold, and a little bit snowy as well. So I decided to venture out and see if I can find this ice rink. So I park on like it's really not a parking lot; it's like the side of the road I'm parking on. And I mean, there's like it's a huge shoulder, so there's a lot of room. But I park on like the side of the road, and I go to like walk to it, and I see like the edging of what could be like a pond.
Yeah.
So this could be it.
This could be it.
And granted, there's like no lights anywhere. It's pretty dark.
Oh, jeez.
It's probably like 5, 6 o'clock. So it's like
dark at that time.
It's dark. It's dark at that time. Yeah, it's not light at all. But I can see though, and I'm kind of slowly stepping, edging my way, trying to get there. And I like lightly put my foot down, and I just go right through it.
Oh, jeez.
Almost all the way to my knees.
Oh.
And so I'm like, it's like probably 5 degrees outside, 10 degrees outside.
Wet boot.
So my boot and my sock are just absolutely soaked. So I like take my boot and sock off and hobble with like one leg back to my car with my bare foot on the just like hanging out, going for a ride. Dogs are out. And but thankfully it's my left foot. So I like just hobbled back with my right and then drove home with my gas pedal, my toes just hanging out like that. And yeah, it was just an unpleasant experience.
Yeah, soggy socks not the way to go.
No.
You ever have socks on in the house and you're walking around and you're walking in the kitchen and you just step in a puddle?
Yeah, it's not fun.
That might be like one of the worst feelings to have.
I agree. Not fun.
Like that's an immediate sock change.
Yeah, it has to be.
If it's not, you're probably a psycho.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm one of those guys that just I feel like I always have socks on.
What do you mean always? Like
Like
in bed?
always. Oh yeah, I wear socks. To
You
bed.
wear socks in bed?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Is that a weird thing?
Yes. Not many people do that.
I feel like it's doesn't it increase your circulation?
I think I've heard that. Yeah. But
So
it makes sense to do. I'm saying it makes sense to do. But
Yeah.
I'm saying that's a very.
but I don't do it for the health benefits necessarily. I do it just because
What?
I've mentioned this before. I do have bad circulation, so my hands and my feet, they get very cold, especially in like the winter time. So I
That's
the
a psycho-
dogs
that's a
the
psycho
dogs
thing to
got to
do.
have the jackets on.
Wow.
Have I lost some points here?
Maybe not with me. I don't care. But I feel like yeah, because most people I think don't do it because of a sensory thing. Like
Yeah.
it just feels weird to have most other things off, but socks on.
Yeah, like I would feel if I didn't wear socks to bed, I feel like not wearing a shirt in public or
You
not
feel-
wearing pants in public.
You'd feel naked.
Yeah, exactly. It just doesn't feel right.
Yeah, that is wild.
Yeah, you know, my girlfriend used to.
Does she do it too?
No, she doesn't. She thinks I'm very weird for it.
Yeah, most people would say that. Wow. That's
So now I
interesting.
know she's not the minority in that. I'm the minority.
Yeah.
Maybe she'll listen to this episode, maybe not. But if she does, at least she'll get a little win there.
Yeah, that's not normal. I mean, it's okay. I feel like I've heard of people doing it, but it's
Yeah.
like there's definitely a stigma around it for sure.
Listen, on the More Life podcast, we accept everyone.
That's sure we do. We accept everyone. I may give you a funny look, but we accept everyone.
But we move on from it.
We move on. Speaking of that, what's the next topic?
Next topic. I actually do have a next topic.
Okay, let's hear it.
You check your notes though, because I know you
Okay.
got a couple
I had a
couple
couple-
things brewing in
I
there.
had a couple of things brewing.
I'll stall for a
I had a
little
couple-
bit.
I had a
I got
couple-
a story.
I had a couple of things cold brewing.
Yeah. So while you're looking, I'm gonna tell a story to the viewers. I'm walking home actually from work one day, and I'm walking up to my front door. I'm hearing a lot of birds chirping, and it's like really loud, and I'm wondering why. Open the door, go inside, kind of do my own thing. I'm still hearing these birds chirping, and I'm like, all right, what's going on? So I go to walk back out my front door, and the upper part of my front door, like near your head, is a window, see-through window. And I notice on top of the flower wreath on my front door, there's a bird's nest, and there's eggs and a bird. And the mama bird's not happy. So now I'm not using my front door. So I'm really at this conflict of like, do I leave the nest and not use my front door, or do I relocate the nest? But then, you might be killing babies at that point because, I mean, I don't know what the bird going to abandon the eggs if I move them?
You may be paying for the house, but this is the bird's area now.
The bird's taking over.
He's the captain now.
He's, damn. Yeah.
The bird says, "I'm the captain."
I'm
now.
the captain now. So that's my latest dilemma is to like, what do I do? Any recommendations?
I mean, you can't just like let your house become the bird's home.
Yeah.
So I would say move it, but
I think there's only 2 eggs in there.
if you move it, they're not going to come back. They're going to move it somewhere else because they don't want to be around any kind of.
But how does a bird carry an egg is my question. I think they just abandoned it.
Oh, maybe you're right.
You know what I'm saying? So then you're killing 2 eggs.
Yeah, you don't want that too.
And I can't just put the nest like on the ground because I feel like the bird's not going to go there. When have you ever seen like a bird nest on the ground?
No, would not do that.
Yeah. So I'm between a rock and a hard place right now.
Another good quote.
I'm just full of them today.
Yeah, this episode of quotes.
So that's my latest dilemma. If anyone in the comments, viewers, listeners, if you have a solution for me, please leave it down below because I'm in desperate need of a solution.
Or a quote.
Or a quote, a motivational quote
That works
to
too.
get me, give me some inspiration. I'll take it. But anyways, now that story's done with.
Yes. I had a question here. So you can kind of take the general landscape as however you want, but
Okay.
what's like one thing you liked or didn't like about where you grew up? We kind of grew up in the same area.
Yeah, similar.
You can take this as like your direct small town or like the kind of overall city at large. What's the one thing you liked or didn't like about where you grew up?
Right off the bat, this is one of those questions where it's so vague that just by listening to someone's direction as to like how they take it or where they go is almost a question itself.
Yeah.
So
I feel like I'm questioning myself just asking it.
one thing I like about the place I grew up, I would say the quietness of it.
Mm.
I grew up in a pretty quiet neighborhood. A lot of the homes and families around me were on the older side. I my next door neighbor was actually, I'm pretty sure, like the only one in the neighborhood that was young, and their child was the same age as me. So other than that, everyone else was older. So it was a very quiet neighborhood, very small neighborhood. So I would say that was one positive of the neighborhood. But that can also be taken as a con too. Not a lot of kids around, not a lot of people to hang out with.
True.
So that's my initial reaction or answer to that question. What did you have thinking?
For one thing, I would like, or I like. I kind of took it as like a community of whole, of like the general region.
Mm.
I like kind of the community feel. Example being like, so we're from the city, like overall the city of Buffalo.
Okay.
People in Buffalo are very kind of passionate about being from Buffalo.
Ah.
And so like there's like that community feel with like the Bills and the weather being crappy and the four seasons and kind of some of the things that are kind of just Buffalo unique. There's definitely like a passion around that. So I would say that's my kind of my favorite thing, I would say.
So you looked at this as like a broader,
Well,
big
yes, that's
area.
what I was saying. It could mean your small town, or it could be like a big thing.
You took
that
it
as a
big, but that's probably because you live in Rochester now.
Yeah, I guess so.
So you look back at home as
Yeah.
in Buffalo as a whole.
Yeah, I think also because as a family, we didn't spend all of our time like in one area. We would travel to here and there and there.
Yeah.
All kind of around the region, rather than just being kind of one specific town area. But
Yeah. See, where I stayed in the 716 area all my life, so when I think of growing up, I just think of the small town I was from.
that's true.
Shout out Sanborn.
Shout out SB.
Shout out SB, the best hamlet in town.
Hamlet, good
Hamlet.
play.
I think it's called a hamlet. I think hamlet's
No, I think
the
you're right.
word for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like a very
Yeah.
small
Mm-hmm.
munits. Can't say that.
Municipal.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
I was going to say that word.
Okay.
I just probably couldn't pronounce it the
Okay.
right way.
That's okay.
But you finished my sentence. You helped me out there.
And I had a con too. That's in my head. Oh, I know it is. Yeah, I think the con is that I would say of the region, in my opinion, everyone kind of plays into like the same life. It's like everything's like always the same. It's like, oh, the winters are bad. It's dark from November to March, and then
Yeah.
you have the bills on Sundays, and then you have the work Monday to Friday, and then sometimes it just feels like everyone's living the same life,
Yeah.
which is like can get old,
Oh, for sure.
because people are kind of like in some ways kind of talk the same. All like not every obviously people are different, but people kind of generally seem like they talk the same about what's happening and coming up.
Right. True. I would say, but my counter argument to that would be, I think that's how it is probably most places. It's just that, let's say,
You think
so
so?
would you say Rochester isn't like that?
I would I would say it's hard to say because obviously
Because you haven't lived there long enough.
no, I haven't lived there long enough.
So I think
But
wherever you
I'm
go, I think it's always going to be like
Well, I'm
that.
comparing
just
it to a
different.
place like, let's say, like California. Let's say we move to Los Angeles.
Okay.
You're in Los Angeles. Most people are from there, or who live there, are probably not from Los Angeles. So they
Maybe,
have
yeah.
many more kind of diverse and different experiences they grew
Yeah.
up with,
True.
which brings a much more variant to the table. Versus we're here in Buffalo. Most people are probably from Buffalo.
Yeah, that is true.
So they kind of knew and grew up with all the same things for a long period of time, and it kind of carried that over. Versus, let's say, like a bigger city, like I just said, Los Angeles or even New York City, where people come from, even probably even more places.
Yeah.
That's going to be much different on a much like larger scale. I
Yeah.
would say.
Yeah, no, I see your point. That's true. Yeah.
But I'm probably thinking more city things here, like someone we could be talking. Let's say we grew up like in a small town, cornfield in Nebraska. That's going to be like even more of what we were just talking about.
Right.
So
Yeah, same stuff, different day.
yeah, basically. So it goes both ways.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of people have a hard time realizing like what they have.
It's true. You're right.
and they like desire more and want more, and then they finally get that more,
Mm-hmm.
and then they just keep wanting more.
Yeah, I think you're right. That's probably why people who you ever think about it like this way, like people who have like so much money. Let's say someone like well, you see this like athletes. They'll sign a contract for 150 million, or maybe like they get offered the 150 million, but they hold out and they don't sign it because they want 170 million.
Yeah.
To us, what is like 20 million difference when you already have 150 million?
Right.
It's no different at all. But to them, they're always kind of on that uptick of they wanting more and more and more because they've achieved a lot, and so they kind of just keep that growth mindset. I think continues to, I wouldn't say like a toxic point, but to a point that's like the 1% of extremes. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. The grass isn't always greener
It's
on the
not.
other side.
No, it can be, but it's not always.
That's true.
And I think a lot of things too are kind of dependent on what your own mindset are. Like if you, like a lot of people are perfectly happy with just like a small life where they do the same things all the time and kind of
see the same people. Yep.
stay in the same 10-mile radius all the time.
Yeah.
Whereas other people, they want to do and see all these different things and have this not luxurious but grand, I would say, lifestyle. And so it's basically everyone has different kind of capacities for what makes them happy and joyful. Like could be down here, like we're just saying with like, and again with the importance of having YouTube to see what I'm talking about here.
Yep, exactly.
They could be like down here with like that small town lifestyle, only doing seeing all the same people, the same 7 people all the time.
Yep.
Or it could be up here, we're kind of traveling all the time, seeing and having like these luxurious vacations and trips and such. So it kind of just depends.
Yeah.
I feel like I rambled on a lot there, but
I think we've done a lot of rambling in general.
this has been definitely been a rambling type episode.
It has been, and a very ramble type, and I think that's kind of what we were built on.
Could call it Roar Life.
Roar life.
Ramble more.
Ramble more. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I think the listeners and viewers probably have heard enough of our rambling.
They're probably like, so their brains are probably like
Just
split in
mush.
half.
Yeah.
Just mush. Yeah.
Just
you're right.
mush. I mean, in the future, if there's no guests, they probably won't even click on it now.
Probably not. I would say like, speaking of mush, like if you got good mashed potato recipes, like send it to us.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving is like 6 months away.
Yeah.
It's almost that time.
True.
We might need them.
We might need them. But we didn't get a guest, but we had to still get an episode out there for you guys. And with that,
This has been the More Life Podcast. Thank you.